Just a couple weeks into the NBA season, we already know a couple players who are bound to become first-time All-Stars. Now with the injuries to Kevin Durant from the East, it opens up another spot for somebody new to make it. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. It appears Golden State will have no All-Stars for the first time since 2012. There will be replacements for the Splash Brothers. D'Angelo Russell's not looking too good this year, and Draymond likely won't be an All-Star. With that said, here are 8 players who are on their way to becoming first-time All-Stars. Starting with Luka Dončić of the Dallas Mavericks, the first player that comes to mind, who's absolutely incredible. For many young fans watching the NBA today, Luka's the best 20-year-old they have ever seen. Type his name up on Google, one of the articles that comes up reads, "Why Luka Dončić is already the NBA's best player." A crazy headline, but nonetheless, the 20-year-old phenom is in the early MVP conversation, changing the whole dynamic of the Mavs franchise. Absolutely breathtaking to watch, averaging around 27, 10, and 9. It's unheard of for any second-year player, let alone being only 20 years old. His passing is already one of the best in the league, controls the tempo, having back-to-back games with at least 15 assists with triple-doubles. His accomplishments already in the record books. Plays like an 8-year NBA vet, has all the tricks in the world, and makes the game look extremely easy. There is no doubt in my mind Dončić will be a first-time All-Star if he stays healthy and continues to perform the way he does. Now that more people will be paying attention to him, Luka likely won't be a star this season with the loaded backcourt of James Harden, but should be an all-star starter for more than a decade span going forward. Even last season, many believed the 19-year-old was snubbed and LaMarcus Aldridge of the Spurs made the all-star team over him, but there was no injury replacement for the West in 2019, but Dončić won't need it this time. Donovan Mitchell of the Utah Jazz, who's been a stud his 3rd season, stepping up his game. Utah's looking like a legit contender, and number 45 is the face of the franchise, increasing his point average, putting up around 26 a game. His defense also has been excellent, shooting 52% from the field his first 7 games. Now that his team added 2 other guys who can create their own shot, D-Mitch is bound to be more efficient and now a force to be reckoned with and will continue taking all the big shots. His mid-range pull-up has also been unstoppable, a dependable guy down the stretch, connecting on 44% of his 3 so far, and Utah going small with 4 perimeter players in the lineup. It frees up the lane for Mitchell to attack where his quickness is unmatched, destroys his opponents one-on-one with a free lane to the basket, a beauty to watch, finishes around the rim with ease. Utah continues to be one of the league's top defensive teams, giving up less than 100 points per 100 possessions. Before the season started, many anticipated the 6'1" guard to have a Dwayne Wade 2006 caliber season in his 3rd year, and now viewed as more than just a scorer. The Spider can do it all. Trae Young of the Atlanta Hawks. His highlights has been nothing short of spectacular this season. After an ankle scare, it only kept him out for a game and a half. Before that, he was putting up 34, 6, and 9 his first 3 games, posting averages of over 27, 4, and 8 on nearly 50% shooting from 2-point range and from 3. Before his struggles against the Bulls, the 6'1" point guard is growing in front of our eyes. After the All-Star break last season, Young averaged around 25 points, 9 assists, continues to terrorize opponents with his outside shooting and incredible vision. Now with John Collins suspended, Young will have to continue to dominate and take over games, having plenty of oohs and ahs moments. The way he crossed up LaMarcus Aldridge with ease, he makes bigger guys look like fools. Offensively, his agility and ball handling ability separates him from the pack. Even if he goes 0 for 8 from the field and struggles like he did in the first half against San Antonio, he can drop 30 and a half and take over a game at any moment. His team will also be hungry, having nothing to lose and no pressure. The 21-year-old is one of the most fun players to watch, and if the Hawks can be in the 500 range by January, there is no doubt Trae will be hooping with the best of the best come February 2020. Devin Booker of the Phoenix Suns, by far the most surprising team in the entire NBA so far. After constantly losing many games each of his first 4 seasons, the 23-year-old shooting guard is also growing in front of our eyes. Having a 5-2 record, Phoenix lost their first 2 by a single point, and arguably playing the best basketball in the NBA. Nobody could have predicted this. Depos was getting some MVP chance after a 40-point performance against Philly, averaging close to 27 a game. He's also taking greater pride on his defense, and head coach Monty Williams is leading his players in the right direction. And now surrounded by the right teammates, adding veteran Aaron Baines was a huge addition, combined with Ricky Rubio, who's been around for a decade. Despite putting up between 22 to 20 27 points a game from years 2 to 4, those are easily all-star worthy numbers, but because of his team's struggles in the past, that's the only reason why he never got voted in as an all-star. Now in the West, because of the injuries and struggles to Golden State, it'll be easier for Booker to get a spot. Having mature guys who knows how to do all the little things to impact the game, D-Book has been shooting over 53% so far this season and will get easier opportunities putting the ball in the basket, which also opens up other areas of his game he can focus on. After playing way too much ISO ball early in his career, more than 50% of his baskets has been assisted, and being an all-star caliber talent for over 2 years now, the Suns don't have to be over 500 for Booker to make the all-star team. They just need to continue being competitive, and D-Book should likely earn his spot. Pascal Siakam of the Toronto Raptors. Spicy P is playing like a top 5 player in his conference, putting up averages of 26 a game, over 8 rebounds, easily the best player on his team. The 25-year-old needs to avoid getting in foul trouble. The biggest concern for the Raptors this season, currently at 4-2. Besides that, his game looks unstoppable. We're the most improved player from last season. Scoring numbers has jumped over 9 points so far. If Toronto's able to win consistently, his name will be mentioned in the MVP conversation slightly. Not that he will win it, but the 6'9" forward is driving. After earning $130 million over 4 years, he's proving to the world why he should have been a top 3 pick in the 2016 draft. Brandon Ingram of the New Orleans Pelicans, who's been the only bright thing for the struggling team right now. I believe Ingram will be one of the last cuts to make the All-Star team, perhaps an injury replacement, and his game has continued to grow and is slowly erasing any doubters, flourishing in front of our eyes. If the season ended today, he would win Most Improved Player. His scoring has been amazing to watch, with his footwork and ball handling skills improving. His game is also slowly coming to him. Starting strong out the gate, the 6'9" forward has been more assertive, is the go-to scorer down the stretch, and on his way to earning a 4-year max of likely $130 million. Teammate Josh Hart says Ingram getting traded was the best thing to ever happen to him after being heavily criticized last season, and now everybody seems to love him again. Once Zion comes back, New Orleans will be a dangerous team for every opponent, and now being better as a 3-point shooter, if Ingram averages between 22 to 27 the next 2 months, his all-star case will be more and more likely. Jayson Tatum of the Boston Celtics, who's quietly having a great season. Boston's off to a hot start, and JT is finally making a leap after a disappointing second season filled with drama and dysfunction, averaging over 21 a game, 7.5 boards over his first 6 games. As polished a scorer as any 21-year-old, his game winner against the Knicks was his first of perhaps many to come. Staying away from many of his mid-range ISO game, he's attempted 7 threes a game this season, doubling the amount his first 2 seasons on average. The Celtics will go as far as Tatum will take them, and seeing how he played in the 2018 playoffs, we will see plenty of those games this season from the 6'8" forward. Malcolm Brogdon of the Indiana Pacers, where he's off to a fantastic start, averaging 23-9. The soon-to-be 27-year-old has been the most important player on Indy, a very good two-way guy with not many weaknesses. The Pacers would be lost without him. Much more than just a role player, the former Rookie of the Year is already at the beginning of his prime. An excellent shooter as well, was part of the exclusive 50-40-90 club a season ago. Right now, he's scoring more than Zach LaVine, dishing out more assists than Kyrie, and turning it nearly half as often as Trae Young, and one of the most efficient players in the entire NBA, having a very similar season to a Chris Paul Clipper caliber year, and having a couple good players on his team like reliable low post scorer in Domantas Sabonis. The Pacers are a big sleeper who can make some noise in the East, and having Victor Oladipo back will just make the roster better. 3 players who I believe will miss the cut: Zach LaVine and Larry Marketing of the Chicago Bulls, and Tobias Harris of the Sixers. Since Philly already has 2 All-Stars, while the Bulls will likely continue to struggle. In the East, I believe Kyrie, Kemba, Jimmy Butler, Giannis, and Embiid are the likely starters. Simmons, Beal, Drummond, Siakam, Tatum, Young, and Brogdon to be in it, since Kevin Durant won't be playing with injury. If any of those 12 players for the East gets injured, I believe Derrick Rose will be one of the first replacements if he keeps up his great season. And for the West, I got Lillard, Harden, LeBron, Kawhi, and Jokic as the starters, with Davis, Westbrook, Towns, Dončić, Booker, Mitchell, and Paul George. Open spots for the replacements of Steph and Clay, and if one of the 12 guys gets injured, I believe Brandon Ingram will get it as the very first replacement. The West is still extremely tough. Thank you so much for watching this video. What other players do you guys think will be first-time All-Stars? Let me know in the comments below. I love all of you. See you next time.